Hi everyone, my name is Phil and welcome to Phil Does 3D finally. I'm a multimedia and 3D artist and I stream live on Twitch on Mondays and Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific time in the United States, which is midday in Australia or 1 a.m. if you're in the UK. Do remember though, if you miss the live streams, you can catch up and watch them at any time by clicking the videos tab at the top of my Twitch page. Hope all you guys and girls are well. You had a good weekend. Sorry for the late start. Twitch was being twitchy again. I have to make sure transcodings kick in because a couple of my viewers have potato internet, so they can't watch me if I stream at source quality at 1080p. So anyway, we're good to go now. Twitch gave us our transcoding. So what are we doing? That's right. We're working on the master bedroom for the House on the Hollow game that is available to wishlist now on Steam. Just click the graphic below my stream in my panels if you want to wishlist the game or find out more information about it. It'll take you to the Steam store page. As always, if you've got any questions while I'm working, please feel free to pop into chat and ask me. If I can help you in any way, I'm happy to try. If there's anything you don't understand while I'm working, ask me in chat. If you just want to pop in and say hello, that's always welcome. But if all you want to do is watch, that's completely fine. Okay. So, we finished UV mapping the master four-poster bed for the master bedroom. We started texturing it up. We got the curtain, I believe, done last week. Yes. So we finished texturing up the curtain. Well, let's just export these textures for the curtain. I don't think we did that. Sniper Echo, it's good to see you, Sniper. So yes, my apologies for being a little bit late, 5 minutes late. It was because of Twitch, not because of me. I was ready to go, ready and raring to go. But Twitch wouldn't give me my transcoding. Yeah, and here. And models, and bedroom, and chosen, and bed. Smurfberry, hi to you as well. And Smurfberry says that I had it. Maybe I did, and I stopped the stream. They kicked in eventually, those transcodes. Yeah, and it took me about, I must have started and stopped the stream at least 6 times. Normally I get them immediately, but when I don't, it's usually only 1 or 2 times I have to retry, but 6 or 7 times I think it was this morning. Twitch. All right, so yes, we finished the curtain. Let's create a new project. And what are we going to work on? Oh, I've been working on the floor. We don't want that. Sniper says Twitch are having some issues over the last... Oh, are they? Might be a part of it, yeah. I was going to be mean and say when are Twitch are not having some issues, but yeah, I don't know what Twitch are doing. We had problems last week because they were doing some changes to the panels. That caused problems with Network 2000 errors on last week's stream and this morning's stream. Transcoding took forever to kick in, but it's there. It's working. So... So Twitch be twitching. So let's see, we're going to work on the mattress, the pillow, or the bed. What do we work on? Let's work on the mattress. Because why not? And we're computing tangent space per fragment because it's going into a game engine. Yes, I want to save my project. Righty, let us bake out our maps using the low poly as the high poly. Sniper says I was told today that apparently, pardon me, apparently Max doesn't bake correct normals for Unreal or Unity. Is this true? You know, I've not used Max's baking to do anything as far as normal maps go in the Unreal Engine so far. So, I don't know. Is it something to do with... That's the first I've heard of it. I'm just trying to remember if I've ever used Max to do a bake of a normal for Unreal. I don't think I have. I tend to use third-party programs more so than Max. So I don't know, but I find that surprising if that's true. Unless it's got something to do with the Flip Green channel or something. First I've heard of it, Sniper. I don't know. Should do a test to see. Max and Maya. I find that very hard to believe. I mean, those programs, Max and Maya, have been used in game studios for donkey's years, and a lot of studios use Unreal. And if there was a bug like that, I would have thought it would have popped up by now and people would have made a big song and dance about it, and I've not heard anything. My guess would be that's not true. Again, I haven't tested it personally, but I'd be very surprised if that was true. Not for something as basic as baking out a normal map. So I'm going to say no, untrue, but not tested by me. Yeah, it would surprise me. Actually, no. I think when I worked on the Mad Max game for the game studio, I'm pretty sure I baked out in Max when I was working there. And we were trialing the Unreal Engine for the game, so I don't recall having any problems. Unless something has changed between back then and now. Sniper says, yeah, I thought so. Also, apparently Max and Maya normals don't work correctly in either software. As Smurfberry says, it sounds like a vicious rumour started by Blender fanboys. That would not surprise me. I don't think that's true, Sniper Echo. I'm pretty sure. Like I said, I do remember now I did bake out normals in Max and brought them into the Unreal Engine way back when I was working on the Mad Max game, so I'm going to say that's false. It is just a vicious rumour. I don't get these people that do these sort of things. Why fanboy about a piece of 3D software? You either like it or you don't. You either use it or you don't. You know, if you love Blender, use Blender. If you love Max, use Max. If you love Maya, use Maya. Just use what you like. They're all very good. I mean, really. Contigi, thank you for the 10-month subscription. You are awesome, Contigi, so thank you. I do appreciate it, guys, when you sub to the channel, so thank you, Contigi. 10 months. You're awesome, awesome, awesome. So yeah, don't be like that if you're a fan. Don't be a fanboy. I mean, come on. Same goes for Nvidia and AMD or Intel and AMD, and just use what you like. And don't trash the other brand. It's pointless. I mean, it's pointless. Really. Sniper says, was a Substance paid a fanboy, actually? Oh, okay. So it was a Substance paid a fanboy who said that Maya and Max don't do proper normal map baking. Well, that person just looks foolish now, doesn't he? Yeah, I've not run into that problem. Not when I did it back when, and I'd be surprised if that was an issue. That's something Autodesk would jump on straight away, and the people that use those programs would scream blue murder if that was the case. Now, having said that, there are some programs that do normal maps differently, and you can have issues with those. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what they are, but it's something to do with the flipped green channel. Some normal maps are done differently than others. So there can be issues with normal maps, but I've not run into any with Max. Not in my years of using Max. I don't know why someone that's a Substance painter fanboy would even talk about that, but anyway. Do remember though, when I create these projects, you do see me say flip the switch, the little checkbox for tangent space normals. You must make sure if you're using a normal map, it's tangent based for the game engine. That's the only thing I could think of that might cause an issue. But you can select tangent or world space inside of Max when you bake a normal map out, so that shouldn't be an issue either. Sniper says, me either, but I haven't used Max for normals. Sniper says, I chalk it down to correct settings. Yeah, that's what I mean. You can bake out both types of normal maps in Max. You just got to make sure you've got the right setting enabled. And I generally think it defaults to tangent space anyway, so unless you change it, you shouldn't have a problem. Fanboys. Why? let's rename our material. We're going to call it mattress. Let's start with the mattress, and we'll work on the blanket last. So, let's find a material. Now again, I don't have a lot of fabric materials in my collection, unfortunately. So when it comes to the blanket, we may have to jump into Alchemist and make one. But the mattress should be pretty plain anyway. What do we got here? What do we got? Let's put this baseball hat one. I mean, just because it's called baseball hat doesn't mean we can't use it if it works for us. Let's play with the scaling a little bit. What color do we want to make this? Smurfberry says substance doesn't even bake good normals. Well, see, that's why I use other programs as well. Null can bake out some pretty nice normal maps. KNALD, I use that quite a bit. Or there's another program, I think it's called Meshroom, maybe? I thought I had it on my quick access here, but I don't see it. I'm pretty sure I got it installed. Let me just check. Mighty Bake, sorry. Mighty Bake does really nice normal map bakeouts as well. That's the other program. But Substance's normal maps, I mean, while they're not great, they're not terrible. I've been using them in the game engine. They've been working. They're fine. Sniper says, yeah, I'm not a big fan of some normal map bakes from Substance. Yeah, look, I understand why you guys say that. It depends how you're using it as well. Like, I've only been using the normal maps from Substance that have been derived directly from the textures. I'm not doing any high to low poly bakeouts, so some programs handle that better than others. Mighty Bake does it really nicely, and it's GPU accelerated as well. And Null does a nice job of it as well. Sniper says, but there are settings I haven't tried either. Oh, there you go. And the normal map that Substance creates as part of its texture here is fine. I've not had a problem with that. You only tend to run into problems, I think, when you're trying baking from a high to a low. We're not doing that though. So. Now I've got a picture in my head the colours that we're going to have on this bed. This blue is a bit too light blue, I think. So, and again, I've got to try and imagine how I'm going to texture the blanket up so everything starts to go together nicely. Sniper says, on reading up some, I got sidetracked and found an interesting doc on describing a lot of normal map issues one can face. We'll drop it in Discord. Yes, do that, please. Drop it in the Discord. Drop it in the folio, in the tutorials and tips part. Sniper? Cool. Again, guys, if you haven't joined the Phil Does 3D Discord server, you should. There's a section where you can show off your work in the gallery. There's the tutorials and tips section. You can join the Discord at any time if you're watching my stream back at a later date by clicking the blue graphic in my panels below my stream. It says join the Phil Does 3D Discord. That'll give you an invite link to join at any time. Color, that's right, we're working on the color. What color do I want to make this? I think I'm going to go out of a color and go more to a neutral white color, I think. Maybe. Not a white, an off-white, like a grey, bluey white. Hint of blue sort of thing. But we're not done yet. Let's remove that blank layer from the bottom. Let us let's just throw this other fabric down. I want to see what it looks like. It's an interesting pattern to it. Might be a bit more interesting than just the plain one we got underneath, but we can still use the one underneath. I like the colour of this a bit better as well. It's a bit more neutral. So I'll check that doc out as well, Sniper. When you Sniper Echo has posted that in the Discord server. Yes. Generating perfect normal maps for Unity. So check that out under the tutorials and tips section on the Discord server. And RYRYB, you've joined the Discord. I thought you already were in the Discord, RYRYB. Anyway, if you weren't, welcome. I thought you were though. My Discord though is giving me a message here saying that that you've joined. So. Yeah, I like this neutral colour more, and I like the pattern. I think the pattern's a bit more interesting. But what we can do is we can change the underlying colour of this one to be more in line with the one above it. Maybe we'll darken it up just a bit. I'm just turning the above layer on and off so I can see how our colour match is going. I don't want it to be an identical colour. Just want it a little darker. You might just take out a bit of the blue. Okay, that'll work. Let's go into our smart masks. RYR by B says, I thought so too. Yeah, I did too. I don't know why Discord has said that you've joined. Anyway, how are you, RYRYB? I hope you're well. Discord being technology. What's going on in the world today? And hello to you as well. RY says, good here. Thanks for asking. Good to hear. Been doing any 3D stuff or any art at all, or you just been chilling? Hope your weekend was good. I hope all your guys and girls' weekend was good. What are we looking for? We're looking for... Let's look at fabric edges. Let's do an invert on that. We can see what this is doing. It's just removing some of the fabric from the edges to show us the underlying material. It's a good start. pull back a little bit on the texture. Pull up a little bit there. Maybe the occlusion's not doing a lot for us. Maybe pull back a little bit on the curvature. Maybe just pull up a little bit on the world normal, so we got a bit more pattern happening through the fabric. Let's group these. I'm going to call it mattress. Now I'm going to... What am I going to do? I'm going to copy... I'm going to duplicate the top layer. Pull that out of that group and put it on the very top of the stack. I'm going to remove the mask. Playing around with our mixing here a little bit. Okay, now let's find another smart mask. And let's go with what do I want to go with? Darker color. Maybe let's try the dust soft mask. You can see what I'm doing. If I pull it up really high, you can see what I'm trying to do here. I'm mixing the underlying light color with the darker duplicate color. Again, it's the same thing I do with wood. To give wood, instead of having a flat color, we give it more of a two-tone color. So we're doing the same thing here with the fabric. You don't want the two colours to be complete, too light or too dark. They have to be similar but just different enough so that they stand out. Otherwise it'll look odd. And just to give the fabric a more of an aged look, so it doesn't look new. Again, I've always said to you guys, nothing is completely clean ever. And the older fabric gets, the more it starts to wear and change colour. So adding that second layer just gives us, makes the fabric look more interesting by not having it as such a flat colour. We don't want to stain it up too much. We don't want to we don't want to make it look like somebody's wet the bed and they've stained it up awfully. Just enough to give it a bit of interest. Okay, let's mask by colour selection though. So again, I'm going to group these. You can have as many groups within groups as you want. We can call this one base mattress. Yeah, it's not a nice thought, is it, Sniper? Okay, wet the bed. Ooh. Let's mask with colour selection so that we restrict it only to the mattress part. Alrighty, let's save our project. I'm in the floor. I've been designing the floor off stream for the master bedroom. Just so that we can. I'm trying to get as much stuff ready so that when we start setting the bedroom up, we can just jump straight in. So that's why I'm in the floor folder every time I open up Substance at the moment. I still have to do the paneling for the walls. I might do that on stream. I might not. Depends on how we go for time. We're going to call this one Mattress. Now, I don't have a fabric that I like that I'm going to be able to use for the blanket here, or for the doona cover, whatever you want to call it. Quilt, doona, blanket, whatever. There are no fabrics here that I have that I really like that I want to use. So I'm going to have to jump into Alchemist, I think, and we're going to have to make one. So let's do that. I'm going to start though by jumping into Photoshop because I need to make sure that the texture I'm going to use for the substance, to create the material, the substance material in Substance Alchemist is tileable. So the easiest way for me to check that will be to jump into Photoshop and see what we got. I think I have some samples I can use that I didn't use that I got for when we were doing the curtains. So let's see what we got here. I want something with a bit of a pattern because I want the blanket to have a bit of a pattern. It'll make it more interesting on the bed than being just a plain colour like the mattress is. I didn't want the mattress to have a pattern because it's too large an object. It would be too distracting for your eye on the bed if it was a pattern. So the mattress plain, but the blanket, because it's a smaller object, would look nice with a pattern. We just got to find a pattern we like. I don't want to go too garish, so I don't want to go with anything too outrageous like a red. And it'll detract from the curtains as well because they're a burgundy red. So we want something a little bit more subtle. Again, I'm trying to visualize colours in my head of the finished model as to what might look cool. Let's have a look at this one, this one, this one. I don't want to use these because they were the ones we used for the curtains, so we don't want the blanket or the doona to match the curtains in the other room. That would look bad. Well, that would look weird. Maybe this one. Let's have a look at these. That should be enough. Okay, so there's that one. Let me just zoom in here. There's this one, and this one. I probably want to try and avoid going with too much goldy gold because the curtains, the burgundy curtains, have a lot of gold in them. This is very old lady. I shouldn't say that. That's discriminating against old ladies, but you know what I mean. It's a very old-fashioned pattern. Might be a bit too old-fashioned for our bedroom, for our boys' bedroom particularly. Because this is supposed to be Mr. Barrett, the occultist that the game is based around. It's supposed to be his master bedroom, so we don't want to make it too girly. Maybe you like old lady patterns, I don't know. Is that what you're saying, Sniper Egger? You like the old lady pattern? This could be interesting. It's a greeny aqua sort of colour. This could be interesting as well, although it might be a bit busy. But it could work. It might work. Hey, listen, I like all sorts of patterns, and I'll use all sorts of stuff, and it just depends on the room and who's supposed to be in it. And I don't think a middle-aged 1820s gentleman would probably have a pattern like this on his doona. So we're going to say no to this one. We're going to say no to this one because I just don't want to introduce too much gold. I'm just going to have a quick look to see if there are any I missed that might be cool. Again, remember this is an Art Nouveau, Art Deco inspired, designed building. So we can't go too off track of the Deco theme. We can't use any that we've used for curtains in the building. There's this one here which is interesting. We might have a look at that. I want to avoid any burgundies because of the curtains. We can't use these because they're on the couches. They're on curtains. They're on pillows in another room, so we can't use those. Sniper Echo says 3 Twitch violations in 1 minute, just then we ban people. We're not banned. We did not say anything mean. Let's have a look at this other one. I think that's probably the only other one that might be good. This is more of a paisley pattern, which would work. Whereas these are more of a damask pattern, which I prefer, I think, to a paisley inspired sort of pattern. But this would work. Colours might be a bit pastel-y, maybe. So I think it's between these two. So let's just arrange these so we can see them a little bit more easily. I'm probably leaning more toward this one. I'm just going to check the image size here. Now, the team, the game studio I'm working for, the team, we've decided to start implementing what they're calling virtual textures inside of the Unreal Engine. Sniper Echo says we were against the youngest and I'm not sure what the third one was. We were ageist, then youngest, and you're not sure what the third one was. We're not ageist or youngest. We respect everyone, regardless of race, sexual orientation, age, anything. We're fully inclusive. That's one of the rules of my chat. Before you start chatting in my chat, you've got to agree to those rules. Respect everyone, and we'll get along fine. Sniper says, virtual texturing, you say, yes, I do. The team and I have started implementing virtual texturing inside of the Unreal Engine. Now, it's a relatively new feature that was introduced in Unreal 423.23, I believe. Maybe it was in a beta form earlier than that, I'm not sure, but officially now in 423 and 424. And we've just started implementing it in the game that we're making. Now, one of the things with virtual texturing... Sniper says, sorry to me if this please. What do you mean? What you saying, Sniper Echo? What's going on? One of the things with virtual texturing is it's most beneficial. Actually, it won't work. Your textures must be a power of 2. What I mean by that is it has to be 1024 by 1024. It can be 1024 by 512, that sort of thing, but it still has to be in a power of 2. Speak to me of this. It must be in a power of 2. So now it used to be a requirement in games engines years ago that all your textures had to be powers of 2. So 1024 by 1024, 512 by 512, you get the idea. Virtual texturing, that's still a requirement. So nowadays, your textures, normal textures that are streamed in from the normal texture MIP maps, don't have to be a power of 2. But virtual texturing in the Unreal Engine, at least at the moment, has to be a power of 2. So if you are going to use virtual texturing, make sure your materials are a power of 2, your textures are a power of 2, which mine are anyway by default, because I'm still in the old habit of working that way. It's a bit more efficient for the engine as well if it's a power of 2, even if you're not using virtual texturing. It's a good idea to stick to a power of 2. It's the most efficient way for the engine to handle textures. But if you are using virtual texturing, it must be a power of 2, at least at the moment. Epic may change that, I don't know. But at the moment it has to be a power of 2 or it won't work. on that texture. You just won't be able to enable virtual texturing if it's not. So must be a power of 2. Doesn't have to be square though. It can be, like I said, rectangular. It can be 512 by 1024 or 128 by 1024 or whatever. But still must be a power of 2. Sniper says, God damn, I hate autocorrect. Sniper says, using it for all textures? No, not all textures. Virtual texturing reads a couple of differences here. Virtual texturing, normal texture streaming uses bitmaps. We all know what bitmaps are. They're lower resolution versions of a texture. Virtual texturing doesn't behave that way. Virtual texture and normal texture streaming is done on the CPU. It's all set up on the CPU and handled by the CPU, which is then fed to the GPU. Virtual texturing is handled by the GPU. The CPU still has some role to play, but most of the actual streaming of the texture is handled by the GPU. So it's a little bit slower to read in sometimes than bitmaps. What I mean by that is sometimes when you, say your wall is virtually textured, sometimes when you run up to the wall, it might take a frame before the higher resolution texture pops into frame. So it just really depends on the asset, where it is in the game, all that sort of stuff. So you can run into the problem where it doesn't load in as quickly and you see the pop-in of the texture resolution increasing. But the advantages outweigh those disadvantages, and you can get around the disadvantages by being careful with where you use your virtual texturing. So in our game, we're not using it everywhere. We're still using regular texture streaming for some of the assets, some of the textures, but for others, we're using virtual texturing. We're not using virtual texturing on any of the floors, any of the ceilings. We're mainly using it on things like the furniture, some wall paneling, not all wall paneling. So I'd say at the moment we're probably at about 50-50. 50 texture streaming, 50 virtual texture streaming. Neve Bennon, hi to you, Neve. How's things? Good to see you. Welcome to Phil Does 3D, Neve Bennon. It's good to see you. Remember, as I said, guys, if you're new to my channel and you want to know more about me, you can go to Phil Does 3D, my Twitch username, and put a .com on the end. That'll take you to my website. You can check out my gallery and my ArtStation links and social media and all that sort of stuff there. It's good to see you though, Neve. As always, if you have any questions too, while I work, please feel free to pop into chat and ask me. I'm not here just to work on my own stuff. I'm on Twitch to encourage you guys to do 3D, and part of that is if I can help you in any way and any questions you might have, please feel free. You won't be interrupting me. But if you don't want to chat, then that's completely fine. If you just want to watch, that's fine. So yes, we've talked about virtual texturing. I've told you that it must be a power of 2. The other advantage with virtual texturing is you can use UDIMs inside of the Unreal Engine, which is huge. UDIMs are used in film a lot, and you can now use them in Unreal through your virtual texturing. They have something called runtime virtual texturing as well, which is virtual texturing done when the engine actually starts running, when the game executable starts. We're not using that at this stage. Generally, that sort of thing is good for landscapes. If you've got a lot of multi-layered materials on a landscape and you want to use really huge textures like, 4K, 8K, the advantage with virtual texturing is it doesn't load that entire texture into memory like texture streaming does, the normal texture streaming. So you can use really large textures and still keep your memory under control. So that's the advantage of virtual texturing. You can reduce the memory required for your game because the textures are not being loaded in and then using bitmaps to reduce the size that it's shown on screen. The GPU can actually break up the texture much more efficiently and in specific areas on a model as opposed to bitmaps, which can't do that sort of work. So many more advantages than disadvantages with virtual texturing. It's a great addition to Unreal. I'm glad they put it in. You do have to be careful though, like I said, that you don't get pop-in. So I'm going to start by making sure this texture is a power of 2. At the moment it's not. Euro, yellow to you as well, Euro. Hope you had a good weekend. So I'm just going to start by making this 512 by 512. And now it's a power of 2 texture. So we're good to go for virtual texturing if we want to use it for that. I'm not saying I am going to use it for virtual texturing, but if we did want to, it's good to go. Euro says, yeah, it's been regular. Oh, well, that's good. Regular's always good. We're going to start though by throwing an offset filter. Now, look, I do have a plugin here called Seamless, which is supposed to create seamless textures for you. And look, it's not a bad plugin. It works okay sometimes and terribly other times. So there is a plugin you can use to do virtual texture, to do texture tiling inside of Photoshop if you want. But you don't have to. We'll see what this does, but I generally don't use it. I use the offset filter, but we'll see. So, what here? Yeah, no, don't like what it does sometimes. I don't want to flatten the colours. You see what it's done there to do a seamless texture. What we can do is I can do a copy and paste. Copy all, Control C, Control Shift C, Control Shift V. I'm going to use an offset filter to see what's going on here. See, it didn't do a great job there. Or there. So it's tried its best, but it's not great. Let's see if we can fix it. Now, Euro says Photoshop keybinds, how to break your hands equals how to break your hands. I'm going to again do a Control Shift C and V to copy and paste everything below that stack. I'm going to see what we can do here. I might just grab my my pen for this, so I'll have a bit more control than the mouse. And I'm just going to go through here and just by hand, which is a pain, I'm just going to darken up some of the lighter blue areas because the blue at the top is darker than the blue at the bottom. Now, I'm going to be taking this into Alchemist, Substance Alchemist. And Alchemist has a delighter filter, which might be able to fix some of these issues for us, but doing it by hand, I'll get a better result. So, I'm just using the burn tool inside of Photoshop. Sniper says, you guys missed if we broke the Twitch terms. We didn't break Twitch's terms of service. We were not mean to anyone. I'm never mean. You know that. You guys know I'm never mean. And I've increased the points on the silence fill reward as well. So if you want to use it, you've got to spend 2,000 points now. You guys were silencing me way too much. CCH. Hello to you, CCH. How are you? Are you doing well? Welcome to Phil Does 3D, CC. CCH 6054 6054. My apologies if that's not how I meant to pronounce your username. The guys will tell you how bad I am at trying to pronounce usernames from anyone. It's not you, it's just anyone. Yuri says, alright, what antique this time? Sniper says, just old people. Do remember too, guys, so if you do enjoy the channel, to follow me to follow my Twitch channel. That way you'll get a reminder when I go live. I also post to my Twitter page at Phil Does 3D when I go live, so keep an eye on my Twitter if you want to know as well. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy the lower half of this. I'm going to change the levels. And I'm just going to blend out that line through the middle that we made when we copied it. I think I'll also just do a bit of correction here. You see what I mean by the plugin? While it made it seamless, it's made a real weird job of the actual pattern. CC says it seems like preparing textures. Oh, sorry. Yes, I'm creating I want to create a tileable texture that we can use because I'm working in Substance Painter at the moment, CC. We're working on a bed and I want to create a fabric pattern for this doona at the base of the bed. So that's what we're doing at the moment. I'm going to be creating a new material, a new substance material in Substance Alchemist. That's the plan. I'm just going to turn these top layers off and I'm going to duplicate this bottom layer. And we're going to use the offset. We're not going to use this plugin here that we used before where it created that seamless texture. It's still there if we want to go back to it. I just want to see if I can get a better job done by using the way I normally do it, which is using an offset filter. Let's just undo that. What I might need to do here is look at the pattern. So if we go from here, maybe a little bit more over, if we go from here to here, so I'm going to copy that. I'm just going to create a new project here. And then if we look at the top and the bottom, we go from... I'm looking at the pattern here to trying to determine how I want to crop this. So if we go from, let's say, here. No, let's take it to... Let's take it to here. Let's crop that. Again, let's make sure it's a power of 2, so I'm just going to make it I can either go up or down. We'll go up to 512. Again, we're going to do this so that if we do want to use virtual texturing inside of Unreal, we can. So now we're going to do the offset filter. And our pattern lines up a lot better than it did before. But we do have this line happening, so to fix that, it's difficult to fix because of the pattern. If it wasn't a pattern fabric, it would be a lot easier. Just wondering if I should. We have our original here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a selection around one of these pattern pieces. This is why I generally try the plugin before I start messing around doing it by hand, because it's fiddly. Not impossible, but just fiddly. Let's use our eraser. Just to blend out that line from where we copied and pasted. Thank you, that's the Discord link there. If you want to join the Phil Does 3D Discord server, that's the link for it. If you want to show off your work, there's a gallery section on Discord where you can show us your work. There's also tutorials and tips section, which is full of really helpful and useful tutorials the guys and girls of the server have come across over the years, so it's worth checking that out as well. I'm going to duplicate this layer. I'm going to move a copy over here. Okay, now let's jump back to our original. Where do I want? I want around there. Let's duplicate this again. Duplicate it again. Android Lust says, I was about to go crazy. My Maya almost crashed. Oh no. How's your internet today though, Android Lust? Because Android Lust's internet isn't the best at times. I can relate because I live in Australia and our internet here is rubbish half the time as well. Let's grab a section through here. Let me try and line this up. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to change the blend mode temporarily to change it to screen mode. Just until we sort of line it up. doesn't have to be lined up exactly. That's the beauty of hiding stuff this way. If it's not an exact match, it doesn't really matter. Just so long as it's close enough. Again, let's use our eraser. I'm just going to make it a bit bigger. Get it done a bit more quickly. I might just level that out a little bit. Make it a little bit lighter. So then we've only got these edges here to worry about now. So we can duplicate this layer again. Let's duplicate it one more time. Okay. Let's use the stamp tool, the clone stamp tool. Okay, and I'm going to just stamp out that line that we're seeing here and there. Andrew Loss says it just buffered. Oh no, it's 1060p and it's buffering. Oh no, it's terrible. Wow. A lot of people have problems with Twitch. I don't know why that is. I mean, I don't know. It may be your ISP, but I often read online people say I can watch YouTube at 1080p and it's fine, but if I try and watch Twitch then I have all sorts of problems. So I don't know why that is. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. It still does, I think, have a lot to do with your ISP though. Okay, now I don't want to destroy. I want to be able to go back and make any changes, so I'm not going to do another offset on this. I'm going to make a copy, hold Control Shift and C and Control Shift and V. That makes sure you paste the copy directly in place where the old one was. Android Lust says, well, I can watch YouTube at 1080p too, but I'm sure it's my ISP. Yeah, I know. I don't know why that is. You're not the only person to complain. People in this country have been complaining about that sort of thing as well. They say, you know, I can watch YouTube without a problem, but Twitch is giving me issues with buffering and things. I don't know why. Twitch need to invest maybe in more servers around the world. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not an expert, but that's the only thing I can think of that would cause the issue. YouTube, Google have a lot more servers and stuff around the planet. I'm going to use an offset filter on the copy we just made. Now I'm doing this just to double check our tiling. To make sure there are no errors that need to be fixed. None. Oh, there, just through here I can see a bit of an error just through there. So again, we're going to jump back and make a duplicate of that bottom layer. Move it on top. Move it into place. And I think we should be good. I don't think there were any other major errors. Android Lust says, but I believe online games may not work well. I haven't played one in a while. I don't play online either. Android Lust says, once I finish the project, I'll find out. There's just one area through here. I'm going to use the clone stamp tool again. Just to clone over that line. In fact, what I need to do here is the clone stamp tool works on a layer at a time, so I need to merge these two layers together. Let's do that again. And just over here we have the same problem. But aside from that, I think we might be good to go. So now, just a second, I think, not terrible, but there might be an error just here as well. There's a line. So what we can do is we can duplicate this layer. And we can move that one over here. I'm going to remove the top part of that. I'm just going to blend that in. Now I think we're good. Yeah, now we should be good. Again, so what I'm going to do, Control A, Control Shift C and V, and we're going to go back into our burn tool, not the blur tool, the burn tool. And we're just going to darken up some of these areas to better match the top. Again, I'm going to use the pen for this. So yeah, that plugin that does seamless texturing is not a bad plugin, but it just really doesn't work for everything, unfortunately. Some things we just got to do by hand. Euro says sometimes old school is the only way. It is. Yes, sometimes going old school is the best way. So now we have our Power of 2 texture, which is tileable. Let's just save our file in case we ever want to make any changes. We're going to call this one Quilt. I'm going to save it out as a PNG file. Quilt is fine. I'll leave it in the reference folder as well. The size is 512 by 512 is fine because we're going to be able to tile it now that it's tileable. We don't have to have a huge texture. Let's shut down Photoshop. Let's open up Alchemist. And let's create a new material in Alchemist. Create new. We're going to call this one my quilt. Create. Okay, let's go to the create panel. Let's load up the texture we just saved out from Photoshop. Quilt. Thank you for the follow. I'm sorry I can't pronounce your name, but thank you very much for following Phil Does 3D. I do appreciate it, guys, when you follow the channel, so thank you. Thank you for the follow. Okay, bitmap to material, that's fine. Alrighty, let's play around with this a little bit. The height scale. Let's pull right back on that because it's fabric. It's not like a tile or anything. Like, you know, a floor tile or a wall tile. It's fabric, so we don't want too much height on it. We can always change this when we jump back into Substance Painter as well. So I want a little bit of height, but not too much. What else do we have here? The roughness and the glossiness. We don't want it to be glossy. Again, it's fabric, so it's going to diffuse the light quite a bit. It's not silk or anything that would reflect the light. Maybe just a little bit. I'm not going to do any variations. I'm going to pull back a little bit on the ambient occlusion. Now I'm going to see what other filters we've got to work with here. We might look at the delighter. Let's see. Yeah, I don't actually think we need the delighter on this because we did most of it inside of Photoshop by hand. I don't really like what the delighter is doing to the blue color, so we won't use the delighter. Is there anything else we want to add to this? Sorry, I've just got to look over in the corner of my screen here to see these. Corrosion, dirt, dust. Let's have a look at the dirt. modifier. Euro says, can Alchemist export displacements? I have it installed but never used it much. I got sucked into Designer early on and prefer it. Can it export displacements? If you mean a height map, then yes, it can export those. But generally with Alchemist, you're not exporting... You can, but you're generally not exporting the bitmap. You're exporting, at least that's how I use it. I export it as an SBZAR file, which I can then load into Substance Painter so I can paint it on all my stuff, as opposed to just saving out texture maps. But yeah, it can save out a height map, which is generally what you'd use for displacement anyway. So yep, the answer is yes. Android Lost says, I would hope it can export displacements. Yes, it can. They're not called displacements though, they are called height maps. Alright, what do we got here? Euro says, Neat might have some save some time running it through there than Designer. Yes. Well, so yes, you can. You can save out a height map. Now, this dirt is meant for dirt, but if we're careful, we can use it just to add a bit of color variation. Yura says, I'll have a play sometime on the to-do list, like everything. Like the ever-growing thing, yeah. It's worth playing around with. I mean, it's a good program, Alchemist. Even though it is owned by Adobe now, it's still a good program. Particularly if you do a lot of Substance Painter work, because you can load them up in Substance Painter and use them that way. Going to pull back a little on the opacity. I don't know that I want to change the colours. The colours blend quite well with the pattern already. Looking at the dirt mask it's actually putting down. No, we won't invert the colours. And that should be okay. It's just getting a bit of variation here and there so it doesn't look quite so flat. Let's save it to our collection. We're going to call it My Quilt. And I want to export it as an SBZAR file so that we can use it inside a Substance Painter. I'm going to export it to K. Actually, just before I do that, I'm going to change the settings here and change this to a higher resolution to 2K. Now we can export it. My quilt 2K is fine. Let's set a path. And I always put it in my algorithmic Substance Painter shelf materials folder. Let's create a new subfolder called My Quilt. And let's export. And you can see it's working away up here. It's behind my list of followers and stuff, but there's a bar that shows you what progress it's at. Now I'm going to keep Alchemist open. We're going to jump back into Substance Painter. But I'm going to keep Alchemist open in case there are any changes I want to make. It's just quicker and easier than closing the program down and having to reopen it again. Okay, so that's saved out. Let's jump into Substance Painter. And let's bind my quilt. And it's it there. So let's drag and drop that. Let's close that group up. Drop that on there. We are going to let's mask by color selection. So it just applies to the blanket. Change our scaling. Now you see what I mean? The height information is way too high. Let's pull that right back. It's a bit greener than I wanted it to be, actually. Didn't actually want it to be quite so green. Let's jump back into Alchemist. Let's look at our filters again. Let's look at the color variation.
Sometimes you gotta leave the past behind just to find out where you're going. They try to tell you you should take your time, but inside your heart, know it, don't try to stay. Sometimes you gotta leave.
Just trying to see if I can get a color that might be more interesting. I don't want to go into a pink. I want a purple is interesting. A purple might be interesting. Android Lust says I should have a sneak peek of this project tomorrow. Right now it's looking like trash, so I can't post it. No problem. We look forward to seeing it though, Android Lust. We love looking at the stuff you're making. But show it when you think it's ready. That's cool. We'll jump back into Substance Painter and I think what I might do is just have a look at our scaling here. Might increase the scaling a little bit. I'm going to save out this new version. Actually, I might change that color. No, I think we'll stick with the color it was at. I'm going to save this out as a new version. So I'm going to export into a new folder. Of course, on my quilt 2. We're going to rename it My Quilt 2. Yes, now we do look forward to seeing it when it's done, Android Lost. And do remember too, guys, if you've got any work you want to show me, feel free to pop it in the gallery. Pop an image in the gallery on the Discord server and we can check it out. If you don't want me to show it on stream, just tell me and I won't. I know not everyone's comfortable with that. Okay, let's jump back into Substance Painter. And we have our second one here, so I'm going to throw that on top. Again, let's mask with color selection. Again, we're going to scale it 8.9 times to match the bottom one. And we're going to pull back on the height information. So let's see what we can do here now. Look at our smart masks. Look at the surface worn. I'm going to group these two together. I'm going to call this quilt. We're going to mask with color selection again. That's a pretty disgusting looking quilt there. Looks awful, awfully stained and not good. Let's see what we can do here. Let's go into the mask. Hobo bed, that's right. It does look like a hobo bed. Not nice. Nasty, nasty bed. What I think I'll do here is I'm going to turn off that underlying layer. I'm going to duplicate the purpley colour. Will I do that or will I do something else? Yeah, let's turn off that underlying layer. Let's duplicate the second quilt fabric we made. I'm just going to remove that mask copy though. I don't want two copies of the same mask. I'm going to move this layer under the one below it, which does have the mask. And let's change the blending mode. It's going to turn the layer on top off so I can see what I'm doing. Otherwise it won't show up. Okay, I see. We're going to move it above that layer. I should have left it above. Go back to the top of the stack, I think I like the multiply. I'm just going to play around with the mask here a little bit. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to I might just pull back on the very base layer a little bit. I'm going to pull a little bit of this, like, we look through here, we've got like a dirt pattern happening. If I turn it all, you can see what I mean. I want a little bit of that. Might just pull back a little bit on the middle layer, just because it's very saturated. The color is very saturated, so pulling back on the middle layer, I can take out a bit of the color, just so it doesn't look quite so saturated, quite so new. We want a little bit of color, but we want it a bit more subtle. But that does mean we probably need to change this a little bit. And now what we can do is we can look at our materials here. And let's find a fabric, just a plain fabric. Maybe this bamboo. Just going to throw it over everything so I can see what it looks like. Let's move that to the base of our quilt stack. No, in fact, let's move it to the top of our quilt stack. My apologies. We want to change the color. Let's jump back into our smart masks. And let's go with let's look at the fabric thread. Pay no attention to the rest of it. This is the only part we're interested in. I'll fix that up in a minute. So it's just the blanket on the end is sort of what we're looking at when we're doing our blending, not the rest of the mattress. In fact, I'll just move in a bit so it's less distracting as what's going on in the background there. Now I'm going to, oops. I'm going to group these two together. Quilt worn. I'm going to mask that with color selection, so it's just on the quilt. And let's play with our mixing a little bit. Might duplicate this layer again. And let's change the color of the duplicate. Let's make it send it into a little bit more about a red. Let's remove these masks from the duplicate we just made. Remove the mask itself. We'll change this back to normal. Let's look at another smart mask. Let's go with Dust Soft. Again, let's change the color, make it a lot darker. Just going to take out some of the color information as well, so it's not quite so red. Play with our mixing. Don't quite like the color. Let's change it to more of an aqua color. I'm just trying to add a bit of a color variation through the actual quilt itself. Jump back to the smart mask. Maybe we'll just call back a little bit on the blending mode. Just checking the height information to make sure it doesn't look too high, too bumpy. That's actually a bump in the design of the quilt. Just wondering if I should make it look older. Like the mattress looks pretty old. Because remember, this is going in a bedroom that's been like locked up for decades. So I don't want to make things too nice and new and clean. I'm just worried that the quilt might look a little bit new, still look a bit too new. We can always add more dirt. Still don't know if I'm sold on that pattern. Let's just save our project. While I have a think about this. Yeah, I don't know. See if there are any other materials here that might be okay to use. This is the one we used in the bathroom. This is the one we're using on the curtains for the bedroom. Not really. Not really anything else there that's suitable. Let's just jump into Bridge. So again, this is Android Lost says, well, it could look new and dusty at the same time. That's true. Again, this is Quicksilver Bridge. If you're making a game using UE4, because Epic Games purchased Quicksilver, you've got access to their entire library for free. You have to be using the Unreal Engine to make your game. But if you are, then you can download all of their library for free. Let's just see what they've got as far as fabric. Let's see if I can find something here that I like. So yes, if you're making a game using UE4, you can download any of their... They don't just have textures, they have 3D models as well that you can use. Photogrammetry 3D models. And it's all free, if you're making a game using UE4, of course. Andrew Lost says some of their materials aren't slow internet friendly. I can imagine, because yeah, some particularly some of the models, the 3D models, the photogrammetry stuff, they could take a while to download on a poor internet connection. But I'm just looking through here to see if there is any fabric that I like the look of. It might not be terrible. Let's just have a look at this. It's an interesting fabric. It's a lot more geometric. Well, it might be cool. Maybe. Oh, 4K Unreal, video displacement, normal video. I'll just download it. I might not use it, but I'll download it to put it in my library, just in case. What else have we got? We don't want a snake skin. I think that's what that is. Just going to export that. Yeah, no, we don't want that. Well, it's an interesting pattern, but not for what we want. No, I can't really see anything here that grabs me. Again, this is an interesting pattern. Not for the bedroom. No, not for what we want. It's just a grey. It's a nice grey, but just a grey. Let's have a look at this one as well. Might as well grab that one. And let's export it. And let's close down Bridge. Now let's jump back into Alchemist. Let's create a new project. And we'll call this one My Fabric 3. Alright. Now let's find those models we downloaded. Those fabric thingies, I mean. The fabric we downloaded. Fabric pattern. Fabric leather. Okay, that was that one. Let's look at the other one first. This one. You're not really meant to do this. I'm using Quicksilver Bridge materials, and I'm bringing them into Alchemist to create substance materials. I don't know that they actually meant you to use them that way, but why not? Just trying to work out what's going on here. Why are you doing that? Alchemist is not giving me access to my filters for some reason. I'm just trying to work out why. Weird. I'm just going to reopen Alchemist. Come on. You can do it. I don't know why it takes Alchemist a while to open sometimes. You are going to open, aren't you? It's on your SSD. Yes, it is on my SSD. Let's create a new material. My fabric 10, just in case it had a problem with the last name. Create. Oh yeah, no, all of the software is installed on my SSD. I only install things like these downloads onto my hard drive. There we go. Now we can have access to it. Must have just been some bug in Alchemist, which doesn't surprise me. Alchemist can be a bit buggy still, even with Adobe owning it now. I'm going to pull right back on the height. I'm going to pull right back on the roughness as well, so it's not shiny. Let's save it first. Actually, save the material. We're going to call it my fabric 10. You got to shoot off? No problem, Sniper Echo. Thanks for being here. I'll see you tomorrow. You have a good night or good day, whatever time it is wherever you are. The Euro says I need more SSDs and more hard drives. To be honest, I said, don't we all? Got a vacant NVMe slot screaming for an M.2. I have as well. I've got an NVMe which I use for my C drive, but I have two M.2 slots, so the other one's staring at me with nothing in it as well. So yep, you have a good night, Sniper Echo. Thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. Let's export this my fabric 10 to... I'm not sure if I'm even going to use it, but we'll export it. We'll see. Create a new folder called My Fabric 10. We might just stick with what we got, but we'll see what this looks like. We'll export it at 2K. Android Lost says, oh, by the way, if you use ZBrush a lot, I believe by default it saves quick saves to your install drive, which is normally an SSD. Quick saves can be 5 gigabytes depending on the file. Oh man. So, you know, if you're using ZBrush and you've run out of space, that's the problem. I turn quick save off though. You guys know I don't, I turn autosave on all of the software I use off because I don't like being slowed down while I'm working. Alrighty, let us just throw that material we just made. We can find it. This one here. Let's just throw it on the top of the stack. We're going to mask with color selection again. And let's change the scaling. I don't know, it's just so boring. Such a boring looking fabric. Smurfer says, hey Euro, I've been lurking. Sierra says, lurking is a profession. Oh, look. Well, let's see what we can do here. We can combine them, maybe, to make the underlying one a little bit more interesting. So instead of using one or the other, we can use both. For those times when you just can't make your mind up, use both. Yuri says, if I get another M.2, I'll grab a 1 gig and swap it with my C drive M.2. All the extra stuff apps installs in the background to user folders and program data take up a chunk of room. Yeah, they do. Particularly if they use temp directories and they tend to want to put them on the same drive as the installed software. You can change it like Photoshop and stuff, or Premiere, you can change where the temp directories are, but some software you can't. And if they start putting all those temporary directories on the SSD, it'll start chewing up all your space. Let's just change the scaling, make it a little bit more, scale it up a little bit more. Just gonna look at the height. I might just pull back a little bit on the height information, I think. Android Lust says my SSD is currently in the red because of ZBrush. Delete those temporary files, Android Lust. Euro says Visual Studio is a good example. Tell it to install on D. It installs like 500 meg there and gigabytes of libraries on to see. Oh man. And I like that better. It's given us a little bit more interest. Doesn't look quite so plain. Might just play with the mixing a little bit to see if we can find a better mix. No, I think the one we were on was probably the best. But we might just pull back a little bit. That'll do for what we want. Let's do a quick save here. We could go for hours and hours and hours. Euro says I have a bunch of stuff system linked from hard drive. Saves me a bit of room where I can. Yeah, it's always a good idea. Android Lust says I should correct myself. ZBrush will save a quick save with an undo history. The undo history takes up the most space. Yeah, in Macs you've got the option to actually tell it how many levels of undo you want. I think Photoshop does too. So I think it defaults to like 20 undos. So maybe reduce the number of undos in ZBrush so it doesn't save as many onto your hard drive. Might be a good idea. We've saved our file. Android Lust says that it's on by default and it always comes back every incremental save. Man. This is why I hate ZBrush. This is why I love ZBrush so much, yes. It's so stupid. I even turn it off in, I turn autosave off even here in Substance Painter. You see autosave is disabled. I always disable it all. You guys know that. I hate being interrupted while I'm working. But it does mean I have to remember to save manually. I think we might leave it there for today though, guys and girls. I do want to thank you all very much for hanging out with me and for watching. I will be back on again tomorrow where we will pick up where we left off. We'll probably tackle the actual bed itself, I think, tomorrow. The actual wooden part of the bed. The main part of the bed. Because now that we've done the curtains, we've done the mattress, we will do the bed. So that's tomorrow's project. We'll be jumping into Substance Painter and texturing up the bed frame, the wooden bed frame. Thank you guys, though, like I said, very much for hanging out and for watching. I do appreciate you guys being here. I'll be back on again tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific time in the United States. You guys and girls have a great night, great day, whatever time it is, wherever you are. And hopefully I'll see you all again tomorrow. See you guys.